Alright, so episode 8 opens the morning after the moment on the beach with Belly in bed listening to a voice message from Jeremiah apologizing for missing their beach meetup. She sends a short message back telling him she loves him and can't wait to see him later at the rehearsal dinner, but it's clear she's still thinking about the previous night. She heads downstairs to get some coffee and is stunned when Conrad walks in. Turns out he skipped the fishing trip as he didn't exactly think spending the day with Jeremiah was a good idea after the events of the prior night. Conrad asks Belly to forget their conversation and tries to blame it on the alcohol as he apologizes for his comments. Belly is not convinced and tells him he's not changed at all. Things get heated as Belly tells him to never speak to her again, and she no longer wants him to attend the wedding. She tells Conrad to make up some excuse as to why he has to leave and get lost. Frustrated, Conrad questions what Belly wants from him as he bared it all and tried to let her off the hook, but she won't even let him walk away with a piece of his pride intact. Belly does not back down, even as Conrad reiterates that she broke his heart last night, calling him heartless, to which he quips that she's the heartless one. Connie again goes on about how he loves her and will never not love her, pointing out that she's probably known this all along, as he brings up their many close encounters, including Christmas and just a few days prior when the pair ran errands and then almost kissed after he injured his leg. Belly coldly tells him she felt nothing and he finally leaves. While her words to Conrad painted one picture, Belly's inner monologue paints another one as she admits to herself that she'll never be able to let him go. She can't walk away from Jeremiah, but also can't let go of Conrad. However, she refuses to bet her whole life on Conrad. After driving off, Conrad returns just as Taylor is getting back from a run. Taylor, being the ultimate girl's girl, one who's always looking out for her best friend, lays into Conrad, having sensed that he clearly said something last night to Belly that upset her. Conrad tries to shut the conversation down by telling Taylor it's none of her business, but she presses him further, to which he confirms he still loves Belly and has never stopped caring about her. As he tells Taylor, Belly might be pushing it down, but he's certain she still cares about him as well. Bringing the conversation to an end, Taylor issues a pointed warning to Conrad that he needs to let Belly go, as he's not capable of being the person Belly needs him to be. As they get ready for the rehearsal dinner, Taylor finally brings up the elephant in the room and tries to get Belly to open up about what Conrad told her. Taylor tells Belly about her conversation with Conrad and how he stressed that all he wants is to run off into the sunset with Belly, which just makes Belly anxious about how Conrad is going to handle the rehearsal dinner. Belly again makes it clear that all she wants is for Conrad to leave town so she can focus on marrying her best friend, but her body language continues to tell a different story. At the rehearsal dinner, Belly is shocked to see Conrad has shown up, and he tries to steal Jeremiah away to have a conversation. Following the dinner, Belly and Jeremiah give a toast celebrating their loved ones. Of course, Jeremiah saves his toast to Conrad for last to help build tension, and it's just as cringe as we expected. Jer thanks Conrad for being loyal as hell, not knowing that his brother is still harboring feelings for his bride-to-be. As the dinner nears its end, Jeremiah and Belly finally get a moment alone, and he tells her he's accepted a job working with his dad. Belly is understandably upset that he didn't talk with her before accepting the job. He tells her that he's going to commute back and forth to Boston and that the money from the job will help them get their dream apartment. While Belly is clearly not happy, she puts on a happy face and reminds him they need to make big decisions together moving forward. On their way out, Jeremiah and Belly run into Conrad and invite him to get ice cream with them. Conrad turns down the offer. Jer puts on his sad boy face and gives Conrad a guilt trip about bailing on him when he's supposed to be his best man. They leave, but not before Jeremiah mentions how he can't wait to hear Conrad's speech tomorrow, foreshadowing that the speech could be a major point of the episode. As the night draws to an end, Laurel sits down with Conrad outside by the pool to ask how he's doing. While he tries to put on a brave face and assure her he's good, she sees through it and he finally lets his walls down. Conrad admits it's killing him, but he says he's going to stand by his brother. Laurel assures him that while she knows how hard this is, he'll get through this and she'll be there for him. Unable to get any sleep the night before the wedding, Belly goes for a swim to clear her head and realizes she needs to tell Jeremiah the truth, as they can't get married with her keeping this big secret from him. She creeps into his room and proceeds to tell Jeremiah about Conrad's declaration of love on the beach. Jeremiah's first instinct is to go fight Conrad, but he holds back. He tells Belly he sensed Conrad was still in love with her, with how he looks at her. and mentions how Conrad has loved her all summer and longer. Jer questions whether she still has feelings for Conrad and if she was going to end their engagement, and she assures him that she is only telling him so they have no secrets between them on their wedding day. The following morning, Belly awakens in the morning to find that Jeremiah is nowhere to be found. As everyone begins looking for Jer, Laurel brings Belly a letter from Susanna and informs her that she also wrote a letter for Jeremiah, which she left with Conrad. Conrad eventually is the one who finds Jeremiah, and things get heated as the brothers come to blows with Jer punching Conrad in the face as he blasts him for questioning whether he loves Belly. Jeremiah tells Conrad that he gave him his shot years ago, and he doesn't get another one, and Conrad tries to defuse the situation by giving Jer the letter from their mom. Reading the letter only makes things worse as a wave of anger washes over Jeremiah, and he tells Conrad he's officially dead to him, and swears to him he'll never see Belly again. Before storming off, we learn the letter from Susanna was not meant for Jeremiah, but rather was for Conrad, because mother knows best. At the country club, Belly is stressing out over Jeremiah's continued absence, and Taylor gets real with her best friend. Taylor questions whether it would be a bad thing if he didn't show up, as she confesses to her best friend that she's not so certain marrying Jeremiah is what's best for her. Belly lashes out at her friend, who remains firm in her conviction, pointing out how Belly keeps choosing Jeremiah over her dreams and the things she holds important, and gives her friend a reality check that, as much as Belly keeps lying to herself about being over Conrad, it's clear she still loves him. Skip ahead a few minutes, and Conrad enters the room to see Belly. He apologizes for screwing everything up and hurting her, admitting that it was never his intention to hurt her. Conrad makes it clear that he's going to take off and won't see her for a long time, knowing it's what is probably best. Despite everything that has happened, he needs her to know that being with her and loving her was worth all the pain as he takes his exit and wishes her and Jeremiah the best in a tear-filled goodbye. Finally, Jeremiah enters. Belly is relieved to see he's finally made it to the venue, and we can tell right away this isn't going to end well. Jeremiah wastes no time in confronting the reality that Belly has never stopped loving Conrad and orders her to look him in the eye and tell him that's not the reality. While she's tried to lie to herself all season, Belly finally comes clean that she'll always love Conrad, and he'll always have a place in her heart as she assures Jeremiah he's the one she chooses. In his own words, it's not enough. Jeremiah doesn't want part of her. He wants all of her, which is something he coldly points out he's never had. Jeremiah proceeds to tell Belly that he knew about Conrad and Belly spending Christmas together, and he knows that she began to fall back in love with Conrad again. Turns out he found out the pair had been staying together at the beach house before spring break, which is why he picked the fight before leaving for the trip, where he would ultimately cheat on her. He questions why she didn't just say no to his proposal and again makes it clear that he sees the way she looks at Conrad, pointing out that she's never once looked at him that way. Before he goes, he mentions that the letter Susanna left was intended for Conrad, and how, in the letter, their late mom mentioned that she had only ever seen Conrad in love once, and it was with Belly. While a heartbroken Belly tries to pick up the pieces, Jeremiah breaks off the engagement. Rather than chasing after him, Belly lets him go with their wedding day ending with a breakup rather than I do's. As the episode draws to a close, Belly packs her bag and heads to the airport. Passport in hand, she books a ticket to Paris and is ready to get a fresh start. However, fate seems to have other plans, for when Belly looks out across the airport gates, she spots Conrad across the way. The episode fades to black, leaving us to wonder just what will happen next as we enter the final drop of episodes. So this was a full recap of episode 8, and tap on the video to check out the wild possibilities for next drop. Until then, bye-bye.